We talked at the top of the day about drivers who competed in yesterday's 312-mile Busch race, and would they have a leg up on the drivers who didn't get any time on the track yesterday. Here's the finish of yesterday's race, the top 10. 9 of those top 10, the first 9 finishers, are also racing today.
Let's give an attaboy, though, to Michel Jourdain Jr. in only his 5th Busch Series start. He was best in class. He probably felt as good as Carl Edwards did.
Yeah, he's a new dad, you know. He's got to step it up now. He's got to take care of the family.
Tell you what, ever since that last restart, that last pit stop, I've been watching Joe Nemechek in his 01 car. He drove by Mark Martin for 4th. Now he just overtook Carl Edwards for the 3rd position in the 99.
I think that Joe has got to be so disappointed after that run he had in California. He had the car to beat, and it's good to see him back up there. Got a chance again today, Jeannie.
Absolutely. That's what they're banking on. As I mentioned earlier, Joe said he really felt like this was going to be their weekend, and they tried to foreshadow what was going to happen with the weather here, and that's kind of what we saw at the last pit stop. The car had really tightened up as we watch yet another lead change here today. The 01 tightened up. They gave a track bar adjustment, some air pressure adjustment, again to compensate for what they thought would be the weather change, and it appears to be working, guys.
11th lead change of the day as Greg Biffle drives past Jimmy Johnson.
But he's not ready to give up, because Biffle did it on the low side, and then Biffle went to the high side. You can see Jimmy Johnson just peeking to the low side as they came off too.
Yeah, he's already been in the wall here, and the tire's down on the right front. You heard him say earlier that they were abusing that right front a little bit. Man, look at the debris fly.
But the good news is all that debris brought a caution out where they can get to pit road and maybe fix things.
I think he's got to. Oh, goodness gracious, Mike!
Gone that way.
Squeeze through there. I think they got quite a bit more damage than just that fender.
Matt's there.
Second right front tire that Kurt Busch says he has lost today. They're going to take it behind the wall to make further repairs. Just moments before he hit the wall, he said we're going to make a track bar adjustment, want to go down. And he's also talking about what air pressure adjustment he wanted to make to that right front. But boy, this day has turned ugly with the championship point leader coming in to Atlanta, Kurt Busch.
2 of the top 5 have had trouble. Kurt Busch, the point leader, and Jeff Gordon coming in here 4th, swept up in the lap 1 crash.
You know, Kurt's he's not gonna like coming to Atlanta. You know, last year blew up here and really got him in a dogfight for the championship. Bad luck today again.
Nick Bertrand.
Well, Greg Biffle is having an absolute career day here at Atlanta, and they are going to change virtually nothing in the car. A half a pound of air out of the left front. That's about the biggest change they've made in this thing all day long. He's a little bit tight on brand new tires, and then the car comes in. Jeannie?
With 48 of Jimmy Johnson, who's saying, look, the car just is getting tighter. I guess the 16 really has their stuff figured out, because I need something to help me center off track bar adjustment and 4 tires, Steve.
Carl Edwards still just a little free, a quarter round of wedge, and you see they add a piece of tape to the grill. Matt.
Good stop going by Mark Martin's team. He's away. It's going to be close. Looks like the 48's going to get him. Slight track bar adjustment for Martin. He was solid before the stop, Brody.
I tell you, that 6 team, they have been on the mark all day long, but it looks like Joe Nemechek, that group gained 2 positions. Carl Edwards, the 99, they lost 2 positions. Casey Kane down here, Tommy Ball in that group, they gained 2 spots.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. 163 laps. We've just taken halfway in the Golden Corral 500. Greg Biffle in front of Jimmy Johnson, Mark Martin, Carl Edwards, Elliott Sadler, and Ricky Rudd. 5 Fords in the top 6 spots. Then Dave Blaney, Casey Kane, Jeremy Mayfield, and Jeff Burton. Let's show you what happened to Bobby Labonte as he was cruising around here 48 laps down when there was a problem with Kurt Busch's tire. Tire flat, and things begin to shred. Now, there is Labonte way up at the top of your screen right there.
That was a pretty good sized piece of rubber that hit his hand.
So hopefully Labonte is okay. Greg Biffle out in front once again. This time Jimmy Johnson in tow. Mark Martin, Carl Edwards, Elliott Sadler, Ricky Rudd, Dave Blaney, Casey Kane, Mayfield, Burton, and Kevin Riggs.
Just to follow up a little bit on what Jeff was talking about, those drive shafts used to be black. And then somebody throw one out on the racetrack, you wouldn't see it and you'd run over it. So NASCAR started painting them white. Makes them a little bit easier to see.
Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car, his car is so strong through the center of the corner. Now the car third in line right there, the 32 car, Bobby Hamilton Jr., outside pole sitter. What he'd like to see is a caution. Then he would get the free pass back on the lead lap. I think he's had a good race car, just had that mishap on the backstretch on lap 1. Kyle Busch in the 5 car, remember, he is a lap down, pushing Mark Martin in the 6th. Mark's in the 3rd position.
I think it's just so interesting, and always I know from driving how the track changes when the sun goes in, the track cools down, and a car that you really didn't like, a car that wasn't happy at all of a sudden you love it. So man, this thing has come alive.
And Darrell, I still think as we see Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 8 car, the Budweiser car, still not happy. He's back in 28th position, 2 laps down. But how about Ricky Rudd in that 21 car? He's sitting there running in 6th position. This is a great turnaround for this race team.
Fatback's back, and he back at
Fatback is back in town.
Track.
Back at the track.
Back at the track.
Nice climb through the field for the veteran from Chesapeake, Virginia today. Mike Bliss running right with him, 1 lap off the pace in 18th. Lead change again. These two have gone it all day long, and this will be our, if it holds up, at the start-finish line, the only place lead changes are officially scored. If Johnson gets his bumper out front, it will be the 14th lead change of the day.
But this is almost like instant replay. Greg Biffle is 16. That group beats everyone off pit road. Jimmy Johnson sits back there for a few laps after a restart, and then he takes the lead.
Biffle had stretched it out pretty good after that last restart and up to this point here, and now it looks like they've made some good adjustments on the 48 car, and he's going to walk the dog.
Let's hear what Greg Biffle had to say during this last caution period.
We're looking at least 2 more stops the way it is right now. Probably end up being 3 or 4 with caution. Doing a hell of a job there, drivers. Keep it up.
Thanks. Kind of having fun today.
We'll keep everything smart. Keep everybody's head in it here. Still a long way to go.
But Darrell, that's information you want to know when you're out there. Yeah, I can tell you how many laps there is to go in the race, but you want to know how many pit stops are we looking at? How many more chances are we going to get to adjust this race car?
You know what I like? Doug Rucker. You think about Doug. He was Dale Earnhardt's crew chief in 1980.
When he won his first championship.
Won his first championship. Came from California. Young kid, wet behind the ears. And he has hung in here, and here he is probably in one of the best situations he's been in his life.
Jimmy Johnson. Last 9 races, 5 wins, 9 top 10s.
Unbelievable. It just seemed it doesn't matter where we race. Short tracks, road courses, speedways, this team, they are on the mark.
And you know, to follow up a little bit on last week, just think about how many times that car gets inspected. Torn down, engine, gone through check. Because when you win, they check you out a lot closer than they do if you run 5th or 6th.
Lead change number 15. Puts Biffle back to the front. Look at Jimmy's last 9 races. Last season are the ones above the line, and then he picked up right where he left off in 2005. 3 races, 3 top 5s, including a win. And again, to update, his crew chief Chad Knaus, penalized by NASCAR, but he has elected, as is his right, to appeal and to stay the suspension until the appeal is heard. The car's roof measurement was found to be out of specification, out of adjustment at the conclusion of last week's race. Similar on the 5, Alan Gustafson, similar situation with the quarter panel height, out of adjustment. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick's crew chief Todd Berrier is appealing, but he has begun to serve his 4-race suspension for unapproved modifications to the fuel cell prior to qualify. Richard Childress and Berrier and Kevin Harvick said earlier that they are hoping to reduce the severity of the suspension, but don't expect to escape it entirely. Since they had tested here and were ready for here, they felt like that was as good a race for Todd to be off as any.
Well, that battle's been going on right here at the DW for quite a while between Elliott Sadler and the 38, Ricky Rudd and the 21. These guys are battling for 5th position right now.
A couple of Virginia boys there having at it.